Everyone, welcome back. So in this video we'll be talking about the weaponization, which is the stage 2 in the cyber kill chain model. In the previous video we have talked about the reconnaissance, where we have gathered the information using various tools. So please do check that out so that you can have a good clarity in this video about the weaponization. So before jumping into the video, just a disclaimer. This video is strictly educational for learning about the cybersecurity concepts, and please don't use the tools without permissions, as hacking without the permission is illegal. So saying that, let's jump into the video. So coming to the weaponization, the goal of the weaponization is to select the weapon based on the earlier reconnaissance. So the information that we have gathered, so based on that we have to select a proper tool or a weapon through which we can exploit that particular machine. So for instance, we can also, there are a lot of different mechanisms that we can use. For instance, there is a botnet which includes hundreds and thousands of infected machines that can be controlled by the attacker. So they can be using different mediums, like using the PDFs or Microsoft attachments and so on. So we just need to be careful whenever for this weaponization stage. So let's check few tools which can be used in this stage 2. So the first thing that we'll be seeing is about the Metasploit. So it's also a wonderful tool where you can learn about different payloads and exploits through which we can exploit a particular system. So let's go into documents. So you can see we have a good documentation about the Metasploit. So we have you can see we have payloads and we have exploits, payloads, listeners, and so on. So you can just check this documentation to know more about what actually it does. So just to give a glance, in this we have to select a particular payload and exploit. So we have to select a proper payload and exploit to attack certain machine. So if you select a wrong payload, there can be a lot of errors that you encounter. So just to give a glance about exploit, I have found a good definition in Stack Overflow. So let me read that out. So the exploit is what delivers the payload. For example, take a missile. You have a rocket and fuel and everything else in the rocket. And then you have a warhead that does the actual damage. So we have a rocket as well as the warhead. So without the warhead, the missile doesn't do very much when it hits. Additionally, a warhead isn't much use if it goes off into your bunker without a rocket delivering it. So in this case, the delivery system, the missile, is known as an exploit, and the payload in this case is known as warhead. So the warhead is the code which actually does something. So I'll just keep this definition in the description section so that you can read this out. So this is the meaning of the exploit and the payloads. So you can read more about it. So one of my favorite is the Metapeter. So, and you have to select proper host and listener ports which are open. So you can get this information in the reconnaissance stage, where you will be doing a map or scanning on the system to get the ports that are open, and you can find the exploits and payloads related to that. So you can see you have used exploit, and you can select a certain payload in order to attack that particular machine. So this is one of the tools which you can use, and you can also get the information about the exploits in ExploitDB and CV MITRE framework and so on. So for example, let's go to CV MITRE, and in this you can search the vulnerabilities. So we have to be just updated here. So for example, let's say you have found a machine which runs Apache. So for example, if I type Apache, so you can see you have got various vulnerabilities related to Apache. So you can also see the versions. So in the reconnaissance stage, for example, you have got a version like 2.12.1. you can go ahead and use this particular vulnerability. So just have to research on what vulnerability can be used for that particular system. So, and this one, and you can also use exploit DB. So for example, let's go ahead and search, for example, log4j. So we have got 2 different codes. For example, if I want to run a remote code execution, so we have got pretty much good code about it, and you can just run it. So this is how you just need to gather information, and then we have to use a good payload and exploit in order to attack a certain machine. So these are the things that you can use, and there are a lot of other tools which can be used. And so to overcome it, the defensive model, we have to be aware of all the vulnerabilities, and we have to make sure that everything is patched in our infrastructure. So we have to implement IDS and IPS systems, which are intrusion detection and prevention systems, and we should also have the threat model, which I'll be saying in the next few videos. So you have to just be updated on this, and you have to use antivirus, and even each user should have MFA, that is multi-factor authentication, in order to secure their credentials. So these are some of the techniques through which you can keep a defensive measure. So I hope you guys have understood the concept of the second stage, which is the weaponization. So if you have liked the video, please click the like button below, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys.